everyone. Welcome to the Destination Hoop podcast. I am your host, Adamon. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is actually episode number 5, and so I'm pretty excited. We're kind of getting our training wheels moving along and seeing where we're going with this podcast. There is a lull in the NBA news these days, and I was thinking about a few things to talk about. And so without further ado, let's chop it up. So the first topic I wanted to talk about is the Los Angeles Lakers. Now, I actually lived in LA from 2008 to 2015. Well, I lived in the Inland Empire and then moved a little closer to the Diamond Bar area. So I am well versed with the Lakers. I was around during the Kobe time, the Kobe era. And I actually am one of those fans that very much dislike the Lakers. You could even almost use the word hate, only because when I was in Portland, Oregon, they defeated my Trailblazers, and we had a fourth quarter meltdown in the 2000 Western Conference Finals. And of course, we know Kobe and Shaq would go on to win 3 more championships. And that was a tough day for Portland fans against the Lakers. So I have no love for the Lakers, but I must say that there is a little bit of, I would say, delight in seeing kind of what transpired with the Lakers thus far. And I find that even though I don't like the Lakers, maybe it's because I lived in LA during those 8 years, but I have to say that I still gravitate towards following the Lakers. It's kind of like, I don't know, like keeping track of your worst enemy and kind of finding out what they're doing and etc. But of course, they always get the gravitational pull of the top stars, and with LeBron and AD, and then of course the debacle with Westbrook. You just kind of know that the Lakers are always going to have their stars coming. You know, LA is just, of course, it's Tinseltown, the Hollywood, and LA is like one of the perfect places to live. It's what, 75 degrees most of the year around, especially if you live on the LA side, not in the Inland Empire on the east side of LA. But it's kind of it's always interesting to keep up with the Laker news, and who knows what the Lakers are going to be able to do regarding Westbrook. And I don't know, there's just so many question marks before the season, but if I were a betting man, I would say Westbrook played his last game last year. I don't think he'll suit up for the Lakers, and if he did, it would be pretty shocking. Yeah, the Lakers are always a interesting team. I always root against them. But I mean, it's not that I am a LeBron hater, but I just don't want to see them win another championship, at least for a long time. Maybe we'll get a really charismatic, fun NBA player moving to the Lakers, but in the meantime, I just find that it would be surprising if the Lakers won any more championships with LeBron at the helm. Not that I'm dogging LeBron. He obviously is top. I would put him in my top 5 of greatest of all time. So no knock against LeBron. Anyways, moving on. Let's talk about the rookies. It's always exciting every year as we get to kind of see in the summer league and thinking about what's going to happen with the new rookie class. I have to say that Banchero, Holmgren, Jabari Smith, Jaden Ivey, I'm telling you, there is a lot of hope and excitement for this coming year. Those teams, Orlando, the Thunder, the Rockets with Jalen Green, they're going to be really exciting to watch. I think that there's going to be a lot of interest around the league as we see these young guys mature and probably make some pretty big splash their rookie years. Jaden Ivey paired up with Cade Cunningham. Goodness gracious, that's going to be crazy. It's going to be a really fun team. So I don't know about you guys, but I'm pretty excited to watch the rookies play this year. And of course, the next coming rookie class is going to be amazing as well with the Victor Wembanyama sweepstakes. That'll be really interesting about but yeah, anyways, it's going to be exciting. I'm really excited to see how the rookies respond and how they play. And yeah, it's an exciting time to be an NBA fan for sure. So I'm pretty thankful for the NBA League Pass. I've had it in the past a couple of years and never really took advantage of it. And this year, I'm definitely going to be tuning in a lot more. So yeah, pretty excited. Let's think about the next topic here. Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons is an incredibly talented player. If I were a GM, I would want him on my team. I'm not really sure the whole situation with that, basically the fall of Ben Simmons. Of course, in the playoffs, not last year, but the year before, and kind of passing up that layup slash dunk and passing it to Thibault. It's been a whirlwind of a roller coaster for Ben Simmons. And, through like, all the people speaking out against Ben Simmons and all the comments by the coaches and players like Embiid, if I were in Simmons' camp, I would be really frustrated. And if I were Ben Simmons, it would be a pretty tumultuous situation as a player. I mean, you're in the limelight, in the limelight of the NBA, and I don't know. I feel sorry for him because you're put under a microscope, and I don't think any of us everyday normal people will ever understand the pressure and the expectation that a player has. And I know he was like dealing with mental health, and he ended up getting traded to the Nets, and then everyone thought maybe he would play in the playoffs this past year, and then he didn't end up playing in the playoffs. And finally, I really do hope that he can have a rebound year and really make a statement. Whether who knows what's going to happen with Durant and Irving, but actually, I'm really pulling for Simmons. I think that first and foremost, we have to remember these NBA players. They're human beings, and they're gonna get offended. They're going to get their feelings hurt. They're going to not be able to come back immediately and rebound. I mean, I remember Nick Anderson on the Orlando Magic, and when he just got torched by the Bulls and by Jordan, and after that, his career just, it's almost like he never rebounded after missing all those free throws at the end. And it is a mental game, and I hope for Ben Simmons mentally, he's going to be able to rebound off of this. And his talent, the ability to pass and defend, and hopefully, if they can utilize him in a more point forward position, I would just really love to see him succeed. So I'm pulling for him. The Golden State Warriors. All right. Talk about a team to love. You just have to love how it's all homegrown for the most part, minus the Durant, etc. But, at least the core in Thompson, Green, and Curry, and to be able to see a team be able to get 4 championships, and hopefully they're looking to get more, obviously. And you just have to love how a team is able to draft their own players and get this type of success. I feel like with all the different rules, salary caps, and luxury tax, and I think it's really difficult for teams to be able to hold on to their original drafted players. And it's refreshing to see like the teams like the Warriors and the Bucks and the Boston Celtics kind of build their teams from the beginning. And I think that's what makes us as fans, even if we're not from that city or that area, it just makes us as fans really kind of gravitate towards those type of teams and those type of players who are so committed to their town. Um, I lived in Portland many years, and I love the loyalty of Damian Lillard, and it's a really long shot for Lillard to eventually obtain a championship, but mad respect for his loyalty to Portland, and it would be really difficult to see him in a different uniform. But going back to the Warriors, like even now they're dealing with contract extensions with Thompson and Poole and Green, and I think I've heard the luxury tax being all the way up to $500 million for those extensions, and it seems like they're not going to obviously keep all their players. And but with the injuries that they had the last couple of years, they were able to draft pretty high picks in terms of Weissman and Kuminga and Moody. And so I feel like they're in a really unique situation where they've got that veteran championship pedigree, and then they have this incredibly amazing young core. Throw in Poole as well. You've got this amazing young core that can come in, and man, if they can contribute, it's going to offset the losses of um, Gary Payton II and Otto Porter Jr. And shout out to Gary Payton II going to my team, Portland Trailblazers. I hope that he plays at least 25 to 30 minutes a game. He may not start, but he's tough. He's a great player to watch, and I love the defense. But yeah, the Warriors, they're just kind of a Cinderella team, and I still think that Curry just has, he's got such a gravitational pull, and he's so likable, so relatable. He's not this iconic figure like Michael Jordan. He's 6'3". Well, that's still taller than the average person, but he's more relatable. And the baby assassin, the baby face, and just the good guy that he is. It's hard to root against him. And so even though I have kind of a favored team in the Trailblazers, I find myself rooting for the Warriors quite often. And it was pretty sweet to kind of see them win a championship after Durant left. And so it's hard to hate on the Warriors. It really is. But yeah, I love them. I hope that they do well. And with Klay Thompson being healthy this year, Green hopefully not letting his contract extension cause any rifts with this coming year, Curry still playing well, and then all the developments of the young players. We got to enjoy this last run before there could be major changes in the future. So this coming year, Warriors are a must-see team. I just hope they don't have any major injuries. And then lastly, the GOAT, which is why I'm wearing my Jumpman logo hat. We got to talk a little bit about Michael Jordan. I mean, the absolute GOAT. I mean, it's fun watching NBA pundits on ESPN or Fox Sports or different podcasts and listening to how people like to compare Jordan with Kobe or Jordan versus LeBron, etc. And it's entertaining, and I appreciate people making the effort to kind of share why LeBron should be above Jordan. But I think for the most part, maybe you can disagree with me or agree with me, but I think for the most part, the majority of numbers still favor Jordan, and most of the NBA players still will favor him. But yes, there are not outliers, but there is a growing percentage of people that would love to put LeBron above Jordan. I think for the most part, people look at Kobe as a facsimile of Jordan, just a step below Jordan. And so, yeah, I mean, Michael is the GOAT. I mean, 6-0, and once he got to the finals, he was 6-0. Yes, he lost against the Pistons, and yes, in his younger career, he lost against the Celtics. But once he got Phil Jackson, once he had a maturing Scottie Pippen and Horace Grant, and then of course we know not only did he three-peat, he went on to three-peat again 2 years later. So it's really amazing. I mean, I think with Jordan, this was obviously before social networks and the ubiquity of the internet. Jordan still was a household name. I mean, if we didn't believe that before, just when you take the 92 Olympics and then you see like the specials and the shows about it, Jordan was basically like treated like a god nearly. I mean, even Larry Bird called him God in basketball shoes or whatever. And so, I mean, Jordan was just this mystical figure, this bigger than life. He had so much charisma, so likable. He was a good looking man. I think another thing that made him so interesting is that he was not just a one-dimensional player. He could do it all over a long period of time. He was one of the, if not the best defenders in the league for years. He not only defended, but of course we know his scoring ability. His basketball acumen was amazing. And even though I wrote an article supporting people going into the NBA at 18, I think uniquely Jordan being able to go to college for those 2 years in North Carolina and get coached up by Dean Smith, the fact that Jordan was the youngest of four boys, that really helped his development and getting better and better against his brothers that he played against. I think all that recipe just created this mythical basketball legend. And like his hands too, like his hands were huge, and so like he could palm the ball and he could do things with the ball that a lot of players couldn't do because they just don't have large enough hands. And I think that goes underrated. The way that he could orchestrate and maneuver the basketball in his hands was just next level. Of course, his vertical leap, I think it was measured at 48 inches or something. I mean, he probably could have competed in the Summer Olympics in the long jump. But yeah, he was just amazing. And I actually had the privilege to see him twice. I saw him once in an old like Larry Bird Classic over at the old Pacer Arena, the Market Square Arena. That arena, actually, you could drive under that arena, which was really strange. I'm definitely aging myself. But yeah, the Larry Bird invited like all the top players, and they did like um, some like what do you call it? Not a non-profit basketball game, but a charity game. There you go, a charity game. And I got to see Jordan play that day. And then I was probably, I don't know, 13, 14 years old at the time. But then I got to actually see Michael Jordan play when I was living out in Portland, Oregon. And I think I saw him play in the 95-96 season against the Blazers. And I remember him playing against basically the jail Blazers of the time. He was playing against J.R. Ryder, Isaiah Ryder. And Ryder was quite the player, actually. 6'5", big, strong, but Jordan just cooked him that day. I think he scored like over 30 points and in the spring of that 96 season. And I got to actually see Jordan play that day. So I got to actually see Michael Jordan play in the flesh. And I'm pretty proud of that. It's a memory that I can hold on to and kind of boast a little bit about. But yeah, I mean, Jordan is the GOAT, and I don't know in my lifetime if we'll ever get someone to surpass him. I mean, yeah, people will score more points, they'll get more steals, they'll get more rebounds, et cetera, et cetera. We live in an age where everyone, not everyone, but people do like to pat their numbers, and Jordan was not into that. He did what he could do to help win the game. and it was never about getting more rebounds or steals or assists or 3-pointers. Yes, he could have done that if he was so focused on getting a triple-double. He actually could have done that pretty easily. And I mean, there was one season where he shot over 40% from the 3-point line. And of course, teams play differently, but had Jordan played now in today's NBA, if you take his basketball fundamentals and then you help him to see the benefit of shooting from the 3-point line, Jordan would have been an amazing 3-point shooter. On top of the fact that he had all the skills on the inside, the mid-range, the athleticism, and then of course he wouldn't have to deal with all the just getting beat up by the 80s, 90s basketball, the Knicks, the Jordan rules with the Pistons. He wouldn't have to have dealt with any of that, hand checking, etc. I mean, Jordan could drop 40, 50 points per game, and I actually honestly believe that. And gosh, it's just a shame that we can't have a facsimile of Jordan, like a reincarnation of Jordan play now. It just would be amazing. But yeah, I'm definitely glad I got to see him play. And it would be nice in my lifetime to see another amazing GOAT come to fruition. I think Kobe and LeBron were the closest to get to that upper echelon, as Bill Simmons talks, the Mount Rushmore of players. But yeah, Michael Jordan, man, I mean, he still is killing it today. He owns his own NBA team. Don't get me started on the management side of the Charlotte Hornets, but and of course, his shoes are always sold out. Everyone wants Jordans. Everyone wants to be on the Jumpman team. I mean, Jordan is he's still to this day just people will still gravitate towards him today is what I meant to say. So yeah, I just wanted to have an excuse to talk about the GOAT. Anyways, kind of a different podcast. I didn't really go over the NBA news of the day, and I really kind of shot from the hip today. And so yeah, I hope you guys enjoy the topics, and I really do thank you guys for checking out the podcast. If you're watching this on YouTube, please like and subscribe, hit that notification bell for future videos, and please rate and review podcasts on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. You can read my articles that I write on destinationhoop.com. Contact me at Twitter at destinationhoop. Anyway, thank you so much. I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. Until next time, God bless. Peace out.